at the National Space Council meeting, President Trump directing the Pentagon to immediately begin the process to establish a Space Force as the sixth branch of the U.S. Armed Forces.
That's a big statement. We are going to have the Air Force and we are going to have the Space Force, separate but equal. It is going to be something.
Love it. Now, the president has floated this idea publicly since March, but the ball is now in motion. Chief Pentagon spokesperson Dana White saying the DoD's policy board is taking the issue up. It has implications really across the U.S. military, and saying, quote, working with Congress, this will be a deliberate process with a great deal of input from multiple stakeholders. That's really the key here, because the president can advise or direct the Joint Chiefs of Staff to do this and to take this up in the DoD. It's really going to take the Congress to write the law and carve out the funding. We've actually seen proposals like this manifest in the House before to be squashed in the Senate last year. So this is going to be very, very tricky. You've had top military brass, most notably in the Air Force, which currently controls about 90% of all U.S. military space activities, funding,
they don't want to give
personnel.
It up, right?
I don't think so. They make the argument that you would create more bureaucracy, more complications, that this could actually put current missions and programs at stake and complicate those. That said, you're going to hear more and more about space as the next warfighting domain.
What's the argument for making it a separate branch of the military? That it really puts a priority on it, gives it more room to run?
If we were going to go to war with somebody, most notably Russia and China, which have been actually developing weapons to hobble our satellites and take down our space activities, it would really just take that first shot in space to take down many different U.S. military operations and actually the U.S. economy. I mean, so much of what we do, I mean, just look at GPS. It's done from space, and we don't necessarily have the capability to protect ourselves in that capacity. So this is becoming a bigger and bigger issue. Now, in terms of Space Force, this could be years away if it happens. There are a lot of unknowns, a lot of questions. It's part of the reason the industry hasn't really responded, other than a statement from Lockheed Martin voicing support and noting the fact that it has been involved in space activities for a long time. But you would expect the usual suspects to benefit from this: Lockheed, Boeing, Raytheon, Northrop Grumman, which just closed its deal for orbital ATK.
You know, the age-old arguments all reemerged yesterday. We don't have clean water in Michigan. Why are we going to go to
It's been around.
Let's fix it. Yeah, since the very beginning. And if it was purely to satisfy sort of the yearning to know, if it was just that, it still is worth it, because mankind has to think, I think, at that level to move forward. But when you put it in the terms of GPS and warfare and making sure we don't lose ground, even though it's not on the ground, you put it that way, I think it just doubles the rationale for pushing back on those arguments that that we can't solve everything here before we try to do that. We have to do both.
I think it's all interconnected. I also think when you talk about something like tariffs and a potential trade war with China, when you're talking about high tech and sort of next generation technology, advanced manufacturing, IP theft, a lot of that ties back to military capability.
Right.
And we have seen it. We've seen it. There was a report in the Washington Post just a couple weeks ago about a hacking of a Navy contractor by China for some of those trade secrets. It's a key part of that conversation that doesn't necessarily get talked about very much.
Hey there, thanks for checking out CNBC on YouTube. Be sure to subscribe to stay up to date on all of the day's biggest stories. You can also click on any of the videos around me to watch the latest from CNBC. Thanks for watching.